Hi, welcome to the EpiDoc tutorials series. In this session, Irene is going to tell us about how to encode your EpiDoc file so as to be able to include images of your object and text. Go ahead, Irene.
Thank you. So for encoding images in EpiDoc, we use the facsimile element that goes right between the TI header and the text sections of the EpiDoc edition. And inside the facsimile, we use a graphic element having a URL attribute, inside which we put a reference to the file we want to link to. So it could be either a file that is stored locally, so as in the first example, or an image that is stored in an online location, as in the second example. And the graphic element could be an empty element, as in those two examples, but it can be also it can also have an opening tag and a closing tag in the case in which we want to include also a caption of the image. So as shown in this slide, here we're using also a description element for the caption of the image, and the desk element goes inside the graphic. So in this case, we have opened the element graphic and put the desk inside this. And of course, we may have cases in which we have to link to more images. So we can do this by simply using more graphic elements. And we have, again, two examples. In the first one, we are linking to two images stored locally, and in the second case, but without caption. In the second example, we are still linking to two images stored locally, but with a caption, so with a graphic element, including a description element. And if we have more images describing different surfaces, so different faces of the of an inscription, we could either do as in the example before, so having more graphic elements and including inside the description element a description of also of the face, of which face was represented in such image. But if we want to be even more precise, we can also use, as in this example, the surface element. The surface so states which surface are the graphic elements referring to, and in this case we have two surface elements, each of which has an n number attribute, and for with the first and second in these two cases. And here we see that the description element is used also directly inside the surface for describing precisely which kind of surface it is. So in the first case, we have the face of inscribed base. In the second one, the top of the base. And again, inside the surface, we have the same thing as we have seen before, so the graphic with the desk inside it. And in FS, we have default built-in handling of images. So by default, the images are stored in the images folder inside content, inside root, inside web apps. And when you download FS, you can find some sample images already inside this folder. But of course, you can also decide to store your images elsewhere, even outside FS. And in this case, you have to edit the config xmap sitemap, which is in web apps, root, sitemaps. And you have to edit particularly the EpiDoc image location variable, which is circa at line 85. And there you can see that by default you have images as standard default location, and you can change it to match the real location of your images. And as for the format of the images, JPEG is preferred in FS, because FS already provides some handling of the thumbnails for JPEG images. So you're using PNG or other formats, you want to have a default handling and generation of thumbnails for your photos, but otherwise all the display of the images will be fine. And of course, you can edit by yourself the part relating to the generation of the thumbnails, in case you prefer to use other formats. But if you are using the JPEG images, this is what you will be getting by default with FS. So you will get those tiny thumbnails at the end of the page, as in this case. But with a very easy customization, you will be able also to produce something a bit nicer, as in this example, which comes from the IRSire project, in which the images are displayed one after the other with all the captions on their right, and also with the numbering of the images next to them, as in this slide. Gabby, do you want to add anything about images?
No, that was all very clear, I think. Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.